Hello. This is an introduction as to what you as a U of L hospital employee have access to for the Rowntree Library. I'm Ansley Stuart. I am one of the clinical librarians that support the Rowntree Library. The physical space of the Rowntree Library is located in the basement of the hospital between the far end of the emergency room and the cafeteria. We're kind of about middle point there, also kind of middle point between the two elevators of the ambulatory care building and the main building of the U of L hospital. This is the photo of what the interior of the library looks like. You are free to come in at any time as a U of L hospital employee. It is badge access 24/7. It is open access to patients, families, anyone who comes to the hospital 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. So please let patients know that if they need a place to go and look things up via computer, or they just need a quiet space, there's couches, you can sleep. We're pretty flexible as to what you like to do there. We have microwave and a small fridge and a Keurig machine with coffee available. So we try and make it a nice place to people to just kind of recharge and do some research if they need to. Then we also have phone chargers as well and a little kind of free little library in there. In terms of access to resources that you have, we of course have the Rowntree Library website. It has information on all the resources that are available to you electronically. So things like CINAHL, which stands for Cumulative Index of Nursing and Allied Health Literature, one of the databases there, information on the Cochrane Library, other databases. Of course, you always have access to PubMed. And so we're going to go through a few of these databases, and I'll show you some of the best practices on how to find full text articles relating to whatever your search topic is. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to email myself, Ansley Stuart, fill out one of our request a book or article forms or request a literature search. We are happy to help you with any of your research needs as far as our resources will allow. And now I'm going to switch to showing you the actual library website and how to do better searches. So I like to show people how to, of course, get to the Rowntree Library website. You can go to it through the intranet portals. There should be a link for the U of L Hospital intranet portal to get there. You can get to it through louisville.edu, but honestly, I just tell people Google Rowntree Library, and it should be the first that comes up, the first website that comes up there. Or you can do U of L Hospital Library, either one. It should be the first one that comes up. That way you don't have to remember another website to go to. Just Google it. And here we have the homepage for Rowntree Library. As you saw on the PowerPoint earlier, here's kind of what are resources and database that are freely available to you as a U of L hospital employee. We have request a book/article form, which means you can fill this out and say, I found this article that I would really like. Unfortunately, they want me to pay $35 or what have you to get it. And of course, don't want to pay that. So go ahead and fill out this request form and we'll get you that article as soon as we can. Timing on how fast we can get the article is really dependent on how fast other libraries can get you the article. We use a system called interlibrary loan. And so it allows us to get article access through other libraries and not have to pay the $35 a piece for each article, or more importantly, so you don't have to pay that fee. We also have a form for literature searches. So if you're doing a search for a paper or a presentation that you have, anything of that nature, we ask you to select whichever service that you need, and we can get you information. So we'll get you, again, the literature search, so search results and full text articles on whatever your topic is that you're looking for to the best of our ability. Sometimes, we can't always get everything. Sometimes people will request things like poster presentations from a conference that they went to, and we can't usually get those because usually they're not publicly available. We would direct you to contact the author in that matter, but most of the time we're pretty good about getting you whatever you need, and like I said, it is free. So if you would like to do the searches yourself, which is completely understandable, you'll get faster turnaround time with that than having to wait for me during business hours. We can go to CINAHL, which I said is one of the databases that's freely available to you as a hospital employee. This stands for Cumulative Index of Nursing and Allied Health Literature. So it's a really great resource for if you're looking on those kinds of topics. And you can treat it like Google, or you can treat it like a database and use things like Boolean operators. And if you're new, it's been a while from school, I'm going to give you a little refresher on Boolean operators. So if you need that refresher, Boolean operators are the terms and or not. So these are terms that you will put in between the search terms that you use. So a search term is going to be whatever your topic is. For instance, if we're doing a search looking for complementary medicine for cancer patients, our search term would be complementary medicine. Our Boolean operator in between each search term would be and or not. So that way we can link the search terms together and create what we call a search string. And this forms a much better search. The databases have an easier time of trying to figure out what you were telling them in terms of what search results they should be giving you. And it allows you to create a nice, more tailored search results for your search topic. So and is when you want to combine two search terms and have them be exclusive. So as you can see from the Venn diagram here, if we were doing a search using search term peanut butter, Boolean operator, and search term jelly, and we hit search in the database, it would give us back papers that only talk about peanut butter and jelly in each paper. So it's not going to give us articles that talk about peanut butter exclusively. It's not going to give us articles that talk about jelly exclusively. It's only going to give us articles that talk about peanut butter and jelly in each individual article. For the Boolean operator or is to expand your search and to include synonyms. So if we're doing search term peanut butter, Boolean operator, or search term jelly, and we hit search in the database, we're going to get every single article that talks about peanut butter, all the articles that talk about peanut butter and jelly together. It's going to give us all the articles that talk about jelly. So as I said, it's really good for including synonyms because depending on what your topic is, some people might be publishing with different search terms. And we'll look at that in a minute when I show you in CINAHL how to use these. And that way it really kind of explodes your search and it makes it more expansive and it gives you a lot more results. If we use a Boolean operator not, that's another exclusionary Boolean operator. So if we do the search term peanut butter, Boolean operator not, search term jelly, then it's going to exclude all those articles that talk about jelly. So it's only going to give us articles that talk about peanut butter. It's going to exclude articles that talk about peanut butter and jelly together. It's going to exclude articles that talk about jelly. So hopefully the little visualization kind of helps give you a better idea of what we're about to do, which is go back to CINAHL, and we're going to do the example search of using complementary therapies for cancer patients and their treatment. So we're going to do complementary therapies and hit search here. And it gives us over 17,000 results, which is a lot, right? So of course we're going to want to narrow that down. So we're going to look at complementary therapies. We're going to clear this and say cancer patients. And click search here. And one of the nice things about CINAHL is it'll offer you search suggestions as you're going along. So it might offer you synonyms that you hadn't thought of that you should probably be including in your search. It's a very handy tool in that regard. And so of course, now since I cleared the search, we're only looking at articles that have cancer patients right now. So we have over 168,000 results right now. But again, this is just about cancer patients. It's not taking into account the complementary therapies that we were looking at before. To combine those, you can do it one of two ways. You can do complementary therapies and just, of course, in the next box, do cancer patients. And where the Boolean operators come into play is right here. So you have the drop down with the Boolean operators. It makes it nice and neat for you. So we have complementary therapies in our first search box. Then we are deciding which Boolean operator we want to use. For this time, we want and then we're doing cancer patients in our second search box. So the search string reads complementary therapies and cancer patients. and we click search. So now it's adding those two search terms together and giving us search results that contain both those search terms. So you can see it comes up with articles that talk about cancer and complementary therapy within each article. Another way to do this is if you have a search, you click on search history here, right above the search results, and it shows you all the different searches that you've done. So we can also just checkbox individual searches that we've done and say search with and. So, and then you say, it says S1 and S2, meaning search 1 and search 2 are combined with the Boolean operator and. And of course, it gives us the same results that we did before, because like I said, there's two different ways of doing it. You can do it where you write everything out in the individual search boxes, or you can do looking at search history and combining the different individual searches that you have already done. Now, 1,346 articles have returned for our search on complementary therapies and cancer patients. But like I said, some people aren't publishing using always the terminology that you want to be using, or that's the most recent. You have to take into account what are some of the synonyms that people might be publishing on with whatever topic you're looking for. So for instance, music therapy with cancer patients is very common, right? And another complementary therapy. So we're going to use the Boolean operator or with our synonyms. We're going to do complementary therapy. Then say or music therapy. I'm going to say or, because I'm doing a very broad search here, art therapy. And we'll say, okay, as long as it has any of these topics, we're good. Let's go ahead and search and see what the database will give us for search results. And so you can see, of course, over 34,000 search results came up because we expanded our search using the Boolean operator or, and you can see it right here in the history. This is what a search string will look like. It'll have search terms, and then in all caps, it'll have your Boolean operators. But again, that's to expand it, to make sure we're not letting articles that we could potentially use fall through the cracks. So going back to our search history, we're going to say, okay, now that we've expanded on our therapies, let's see what comes up with cancer patients and if those articles are more relevant for what we're looking for. So we're going to combine with and there we go. So first article up talks about art therapy and music therapy for breast cancer patients. And so do other ones. So since we used or, any of these articles could talk about any of these therapies individually, or could talk about more than one therapy within each article, but it has to include at least one of these therapies and the topic of cancer patients in each article. It can talk about more than one therapy because we're saying or, we're trying to be inclusionary with the or. And there we go. And of course, nobody expects you to look through 1,800 search results, but it gives you a really good start. And again, it kind of narrows it down to what you're looking for compared to just complementary therapy and cancer patients. The limiters here on the side also help you narrow things down. So if you only want to look at articles that are published in English, we can click on that. But you don't want to start putting on the limiters. You don't want to start doing these checkboxes with limiters until you've already done your search string. And let's say we want to look at articles from the last 10 years here. Again, of course, that'll bring our search result number down as well. And yeah, you have other limiters that you can choose as well. If you want to limit it to age or gender or geography, you can do that as well. But again, you don't want to start including the limiters until the very end. One thing I will say though is try not to use the full text limiter, because once you apply that, it doesn't account for everything that we have in the library's catalog, meaning it'll exclude articles that we already have in the library and you won't be able to see them, or even articles that we may not have in the library. But like I said earlier, you can always request an article, even if it has a paywall through us, and we can get it to you for free. It might take a couple of days, but we'll get it to you as soon as we can. And it might be an article that's really good for your topic. One other quick database I'm going to show you is PubMed. So hopefully you've used PubMed before. PubMed is always freely available to you no matter where you are because it's a government database. It's run through, as you can see, the National Library of Medicine here, which falls under the National Institute of Health. But I also like to show people how to use Boolean operators and do better searches in PubMed. So this one will be a little quicker. We're going to do complementary medicines, or therapy. And PubMed will also tend to give you a lot more search results back in terms of volume because it's international, pulls a lot of different articles from a lot of different journals. You can see almost 250,000 results here for just the term complementary therapies. If we clear that and do cancer patients, just as we were doing in Cinel, it's just a bit of a different formatting layout that you should be aware of, and it'll make this search easier for you when you are working on your projects. And that's almost 2 million results for cancer patients. So instead of search history, PubMed has an advanced page. So you would click on that. It's right under the search box there. And we're going to do what we did in Cinel, which is, except this time we click on the 3 dots and we say add query. And then with the second one, you then choose which Boolean operator you want. So for this one, we want the Boolean operator and you click search, and there we go. So we have almost 9,000 results. Like I said, it's going to be a larger volume of search results with PubMed, but it'll be different. They don't always overlap with Cinel and PubMed, the search results that you get. So you might want to check out both databases when you're doing a larger project and see what results they give you. But it's similar formatting otherwise. As you can see, the limiters are also on the left-hand side here. You can choose, you can add additional filters. But again, always add the limiters to the side and don't use a full text limiter because it will take out articles that may be beneficial to you that we can get you through Interlibrary alone. All right, thank you for attending the presentation for Rowntree Library. My name is Ansley Stuart. I'm one of the clinical librarians here. This is me right here. And we look forward to hearing from you for your request. And don't be hesitant to ask questions, and enjoy the rest of your day.